Welcome, podcasters and Aussie tech heads, to episode 348. It is the 4th of July. That's some important date for someone, I'm sure. But anyway, I don't know what it is because we're over here and we are recording Aussie Tech Heads. So welcome once to again to another week. Welcome to the lounge, aussietechheads.com.au/live. Live in the lounge every week to watch the recording of the show. So how's that? Every Thursday night from around 7:30 p.m. Get the pre-show and then we'll kick off maybe around 7:45, whatever, something like that. But you're more than welcome to join in, jump in, squeeze up and watch the show live. All right, and if you can't catch the show live, watch it on the YouTube, aussietechheads.com. No, it's not. It's youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. And while you're there, zip across to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, and like it. And what you do is if you want to get all our posts, you have to hover. Once you like it, you have to hover over the like button, okay? And then you can select some more options on how often you would like our posts and all that sort of stuff. So, of course, you'd be saying everything. And also, welcome to all the new Facebook likers and podcast downloaders and videoers. How you going? Good stuff. Now, tonight, the podcast is brought to you, and the bandwidth is supplied by the hosting, aussietechheads.com.au/hosting. Professional, affordable, fast Aussie servers located in Sydney, fully managed, shared servers. Brilliant. Go and have a look at them. Thanks to all the guys that joined up this week. They've had a bit of a good week, so good on you. Good stuff. And so before we get into it, we've got no Will again this week. He's got computer issues.
We've lost our will to live.
for something different, hey Will. He's got computer issues with his motherboard, and same as Warlock did last week. Now, Jason, we'll introduce you to Warlock, previously known as Jason, but we're going to have to call him Warlock from now on, okay? Because otherwise it's too confusing. There's two Jasons. So this one coming up is Warlock. How you going, Warlock?
How's it doing this week?
Good. What have you been up to?
Not a heck of a lot. I'm going to be away next week on holidays, so I won't be on the show. But it's been a bit frosty here again. This morning I had to wash the ice off the windscreen again before I could drive to work. So
wow. Yeah, geez, that is getting chilly. What temperatures are we talking?
3.
That's
like
chilly.
that.
Yep, that's chilly. All right, good stuff. Now, the reason why... where does Warlock come from? Is it like from Bewitched? You like male witches or something?
I was just thinking of a cool computer handle many years ago. And I had this job where I used to do a lot of driving. I drove past a sign of had Wizard Homes on it. I thought Wizard would be cool, but everyone's going to have Wizard. So I thought, what's something else? Warlock, yeah.
That'll do.
Still, it's probably going to be quite common. So I thought I'll just change the spelling of it a bit so it'll be a bit more unique.
Yes, yeah, good stuff. So you can, is actually your Twitter handle is at Warlock, WAULOK, isn't it? From memory? That's it. All right. Now, the reason why we are calling him Warlock from now on is because there is another Jason, and I'll introduce him next because so you can get the continuity of what we're doing here. So, Jason, how are you going?
Hey, Glenn, how are you guys? I'm glad to be joining you on what is a wintry evening here in Adelaide.
Oh, yeah, I think it's cold everywhere. Now, other keen listeners and watchers might know you from the Aussie Mac Zone, which goes out on Tuesday nights at 7:30 and at the same live address, aussietechheads.com.au/live. And how's your week been, Jace?
Pretty good, thanks. Pretty busy at work, but did manage to catch Despicable Me 2 with the family this
great.
week, and not a bad movie. Don't mind those animation movies.
Oh yes, I'm getting hounded for that as well. So it'll probably school holidays ends tomorrow, so I'm not sure if we'll fit it in. Maybe on the weekend, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Despicable 2, whatever it is. Yeah, that's right. And now, welcome back to Shane. Hello, Shane.
Hello, Glenn and Jason and Warlock. How are we all?
Good.
Not too bad. How's yourself?
Hey, Shane.
Now, Shane, you were all rested up. You weren't here. Well, you were working overtime last week, I imagine.
I was working longer and harder than I would have liked to have been. Even this week was kind of touch and go. I was, what was I doing last night? About 8 o'clock last night, I was kind of supervising a guy that was replacing a tape unit in one of our facilities. And
the good old tape units.
It was like it's a climate controlled room, so it's like 10 degrees and it was raining and
so you like
where you want to be.
You want to be there in the summer. That's where you want to work in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So So, but that's right. I'm here, so and ready to go. So it's good.
All right. Now, we will be going through some tech news, as we always do. That's what we do on this show. Some tech news that interests us from an Australian perspective, you know. So there's a few Australian stories and just stories from around the place that each of us have picked out over the course of the week. Things that we thought were interesting and we wanted to share just with you. All right. Now, where are we going to start? Well, we might start because Shane wasn't here last week. He does his little this today in tech history. So he got a little list of things that have happened this week long ago. So Shane, do you want to give us 3 random ones of those?
3 random ones, right? Okay, I only do like a week at a time. So even though I wasn't here last week, I'm not doing last week.
No, just this week.
Happened. There was no history.
That's right. The world wasn't around.
No. So July 1st, 1979, Sony introduced the Sony Walkman TPS L2. It weighed 14 ounces, was blue and silver, and had a second earphone jack. It was originally marketed in the US as the Soundabout and in the UK as a stowaway.
Right.
So I don't know whether that meant that the Walkman kind of name came later or how that kind of works.
Oh, I had a
But
Walkman.
moving right along.
I guess
Yeah,
everyone here.
I remember them, yeah.
Everyone here have a Walkman?
I had a fake Walkman. It wasn't from Sony, but it was the same kind of thing.
So it was just a cassette
A
player.
Walkman and a Discman.
Oh, the Discman. Yes. Yes, I remember those as
It was
well.
like the Linux version.
No, that was the Sony one. But yeah, I remember those. All right. What about that 1st of July 2008? That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I was going to do that.
Good boy.
1st of July 2008, Bill Gates retired as an employee of Microsoft to focus on the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He remained chairman of the board. I don't know if that's still the case. I think he's even given that up these days.
I don't know. Don't know about that. We could have a look at that. But do you remember the parting video that he did when he retired from the whatever it was? Did you see that?
No, is that the one that him jumping over the chair?
Possibly. He did quite an amusing retiring video. So if you want to be amused, go and have a look at that. One of the funniest parts of that video, I think he was in the gym and he was doing some bench presses or something. And like fair dinkum, his arm was as round as a carrot. You know, it was just crazy. But just how thin he was. He was like this. He was like that. But anyway, it's funny. Go and have a look at it. You Google it. Bill Gates retirement video. Be on YouTube somewhere. And what else have you got, Shane? One more.
It says he remains at Microsoft as a non-executive chairman.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Thanks, Warlock.
So that means he doesn't really get a vote or doesn't get a say.
No, he just still owns billions.
Yeah. Trying to
Billions
find one here
Gates.
that's got names in it that I can pronounce. All right, here we go. July 4th, 1956. A 5-year-old MIT computer whirlwind added the ability to input data directly with a keyboard. Programmers began to enjoy the independence of punch cards.
Oh, the good old punch
That means
card.
It was like a 5-year-old person. The 5-year-old MIT computer whirlwind.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The way they've got it written there.
Little genius, little young genius. Yeah, he's on fire. All right. Well, thanks for that, Shane. And
thanks, Tom Merritt.
that's right. Shane
And in
gets.
the last couple of days as well, in geek history, Back to the Future was released in 1985.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Geeky one.
I think I've seen that. And also, there's one there tucked down there for today, July 4, 1996. Sabir, someone, and Jack Smith launched.
That's why I didn't want to do that one.
launched. We'll just call him Sabir Blank, and you got to guess the name. And Jack Smith launched a free web email service called Hotmail. There you go. And apparently a play on HTML. Microsoft bought it only a year later and still calls it Hotmail. Yeah, right. I never sort of bridged these two things together, but apparently a lot of people of the opinion when you go Hotmail, they're thinking of some porn sort of site or something to do with porn. Did that enter anyone's mind?
MALE, yeah.
I just thought, I never thought of it like that before. But I suppose when you think of it like that, yeah, Hotmail could be a bit hot and steamy letters, couldn't it? All right.
Sabir Bhatia.
Yeah, that's him. That's the one. All right, good stuff. Well, I'm going to start off with a story. And not a very good one either.
Once upon a time.
Aussie IT jobs slashed Symantec. They're going overseas. Probably going. They're called.
Everyone is.
Well, that's right, and they're citing dark times.
It's too expensive in Australia now. For a lot of people are moving out over to India and Philippines and Singapore, anywhere that's much cheaper than here. Even Japan. A lot of people are moving over to Japan from Australia because Sydney's just getting too expensive for anybody. It's like the second most expensive city in the world now.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We expect to eliminate between 30 to 40% of management positions. We will have fewer, bigger jobs for our best and brightest. Oh, so I hope if you're working at Symantec, I hope you are a best and brightest. Apparently the redundancies affected the quality assurance. Oh, that's good. Training and consumer support teams. Oh, that's good. The front-facing consumer support team. Brilliant. And was responsible for technical support, refunds and complaints. Well, that's right. That's why they did it. They don't want any more complaints. They'll just sack the guys that take them. Get out.
I love Bob and Bob. They're awesome. What exactly would you say you do here, huh?
As of June the 14th, no support exists in Australia for Australian customers, a source has said. Symantec Australian Marketing and Sales Department are understood to be next in line, with up to 36 employees asked to reapply for 12 positions. Approximately 1,700 workers globally are going to get the knife. That's no good. In the last financial year, and I thought I'd put this in because this backs up the story of hard times. In the last financial year, the Asia Pacific / Japan region made up 19% of Symantec's overall net revenue of 1.3 billion, which is an increase of 18%. So tough times ahead. But look, those figures sort of even astounded me a bit. Like who uses Symantec stuff? No, I don't know.
I guess you've got Norton there. It's maybe the more consumer-orientated product. So I guess you do see that around at the Hartley Normals and Dick Smith as being flogged along with you, or that stupid freeware that's coming on.
Oh, the bloatware.
Bloatware, yeah.
That's
so
right.
I guess Norton is probably fairly well represented there.
Yeah. Well,
and nobody's going to want McAfee anymore now that he's gone loopy.
Well, I think we spoke about that video, didn't we?
No, even he doesn't know how to get the software off your computer, right?
That's right. There's another
Not
video.
without a shotgun.
No,
Yes.
There's another video for you guys to go and look up. It's the John McAfee, how to get McAfee antivirus off your laptop. Can't have that. You'll have a laugh.
You've got a security background, haven't you, Jason?
Yes.
What software do you use?
On my Mac?
Yeah.
None.
The Mac.
Macs don't get viruses.
Steve Jobs' wisdom.
Not if you're careful.
Well, actually,
only when you install Windows on the other petition.
Well, I do have Clam AV on there, which I will run occasionally, but I don't leave something running all the time. But at home it's all Macs or iDevices. So
it keeps all the malware and viruses off his computers, like the ATO government tax applications and things like that. It's great.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I've got a story here actually about phishing sites targeting Apple users. Yeah, that's the one. Threat detection data collected by Kaspersky Lab shows a significant increase in phishing sites attempting to trick users into giving up their Apple account credentials. So apparently phishing attacks targeting Apple users increased from 1,000 detections per day on average last year in 2011 to about 200,000 per day. How's that? Wow.
It's phishing with a PH and not an F.
That's certainly going fishing with some good bait, isn't it?
It's fiffing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they keep doing it because it works. And for all the sophisticated attacks and malware and that's around the place, it's still surprisingly, quite common for you send an email out or direct people to a website and ask for their details, and they'll provide them. And sometimes they'll provide a lot of it and not question it, of driver's license and passwords, credit card numbers.
Yep.
So
if it wasn't lucrative and didn't work, they wouldn't do it. But
absolutely.
Same reason I was reading about somebody who got into one of those vitamin scam schemes where they'd email millions of people and a few people would buy these dodgy vitamins. They'd send it to them, but A lot of the time they didn't. And they just made a ton of money from it because people were just happy to give them their credit card or bank details.
Yeah, it goes a bit crazy. Like sometimes and even I know, like you get rung up legitimately by Telstra or someone, and the first thing they start saying, they go, Glenn, and you go yes, and they go, what's your date of birth and address for confirmation?
Yeah,
and you go, well,
and they don't have caller ID on there, so there's no way for you to know who it is.
Yeah,
banks and stuff like that as well. They're like, hi, we just want to talk about your banking products. We'd like to offer you something best. What's your account password and what's your date of birth and where do you live to confirm it's you? I'm like, I don't know that it's you.
Well, that's
How do you prove that you're you?
That's right. Yeah.
How did I ring you back?
Yeah, you got
that's always the safest thing to do. Don't go providing that type of information to someone just calling you that I guess is out of the blue, unsolicited.
That's right. Yes, exactly. All right. So now you guys know about the AussieTechRadio.com. Heaps of shows on there. Heaps of other little Aussie podcasts. A couple of podcasts from New Zealand. AussieTechRadio.com. Now, 24/7, it's a streaming shoutcast. You can get that on your Android or iPhone. Download an app, search for Aussie Tech Heads, or go to the AussieTechRadio.com, and there's some other instructions if you want to look at it in the browser or whatever. So Aussie, that's another good one for your favourites. AussieTechRadio.com. Now, Jason, have you got a story for it? Sorry, Warlock, have you got a story for us?
Sure. Yep, I've got plenty of them here.
Thank you very much. What do you got?
There's talk that Google may be looking to make a game console, smartwatch, and maybe a new Google Q, because we all know how well the first Nexus Q went.
Yep.
Tanked completely.
In the toilet.
Google filed paperwork with the US Federal Communications Commission for a H840 device that functions as a media player. A filing, oddly enough, that was replete with references to Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right.
You gotta love that. But
now,
it looks as though they might be bringing out their own watch and game machine to take on Ouya and maybe a new version of the Q. So
what the hell is Ouya?
That'd be interesting.
I've never heard of Ouya.
Ouya is a box that was funded on Kickstarter, which runs on Android system and allows you to plug it into your television, and you can play Android games on the big screens, and it comes with controls and that sort of
thing. Yeah, sweet. And
it's
what
like a Xbox type thing, but it's only for Android games.
And for those that don't know, what's the Q?
The Q was yeah.
No, I don't think they even got
Google
out.
made a media device called the Nexus Q, which was to for you to stream your audio through it, but it wasn't really that popular, and it was terribly expensive.
It was shaped like what was it? It had a funny shape to it, didn't it? Like a cube or something? Was that thing?
Yeah.
No, it was like one of those those things that they're like a black 8-ball, and you shake them and you kind of look at them and they give you answers. There was
yes
thing.
Yes. Has Shane got another story?
And go, why are you not popular? Why won't people buy you?
So that's right. So mine just said Shane does have a story. And what have you got, Shane?
Shane's not quite ready.
And Jace, you can use my stories.
Thank you, Glenn.
Right, I'm going to start with one.
I'll just look for some Apple ones in there.
Yeah, sorry,
start
Shane.
with one that might be a week or two old now, but Facebook bug exposes users' details. Facebook says a bug in its system caused 6 million users' contact information to be inadvertently exposed. Social media company said on Friday, I don't know what Friday that was, that a bug led to users' contact information such as email addresses or phone numbers to be accessed by other users who either had some contact information about the person or some connection to them. Facebook said in a blog post that the cause of the bug is pretty technical, but the problem is tied to its download your information tool. The company uses the information that users upload to better tailor friend suggestions.
So they stuffed up. They stuffed up.
In a nutshell, if you use your mobile device and you connect to the Facebook app, it would upload your contacts to there. And if one of your friends, if you didn't put your phone number on there, but your friend had your phone number on his phone, it would upload into his account. So when you downloaded your Facebook data, which you're allowed to do now, same as with Google and Twitter and other places where you can export your data, it would include the information that they had about you as well. And you could see that Facebook had your phone number, even if you didn't give it to them, because they got it from your friends as well.
Yeah.
And other information about you through there.
And
so,
even if you weren't a Facebook member, but they said it was all okay because you may want to join Facebook. And when you do, we know everything about you already. So how convenient is that?
Yes.
You don't have to type in your phone details and where you live and everything because we've already
We can
got it.
tell you.
Yeah.
Because,
They're
of
like
course,
the
you
NSA.
join Facebook. It's just a matter of time.
Well, they must have a pretty good, or their API, I don't understand too much about this, all right, but their API must be fairly open because I use a, what would you call it, a customer record management thing. It's all on the internet. It's called nimble.com. Go and have a look at that. That's pretty good. That's what I use, and it will import your emails and everything from Google. But it also, when you add a customer or a client, you add their name, address, and email and phone number, whatever. It'll go away and it'll suck information from Facebook to try and find a match for you, and also Google Plus and also LinkedIn. And invariably, if your client has got one of those things or all of them, it'll match. It'll match them up, and then you just follow. You can see what's going on. Depends on their privacy settings, obviously, but pretty much it gets pretty in there. So go and have a look at that one. That's pretty good. Jason, have you got one of my stories?
Indeed, I have.
Oh, good stuff. What do you got?
Well, since Eric isn't here, as well as talk about Apple, I can talk about the NBN. How about that?
Oh.
So the NBN has passed 207,500 premises with fibre. I reckon they'll probably pass just about everyone because they certainly go well past me. It's not coming near me anytime soon. But
No.
apparently the company said today it was now up with its June rollout target, and it's been targeting between 180 to 200,000 premises.
Yeah.
But I mean, again,
It's still low.
That's all really good. But how many people are connected to it?
Well, that's
how
the
many,
thing.
How many connections are they getting?
And even
they don't release that information.
No, and even 207,000 premises, like that's low. Like, you know, this thing's been going. It probably was in the womb in 2007, and now it's nearly 7 years later, and still it's just trickling along. You know, it should have been finished by now. But I know they've had hiccups, but you know, these are the things that they got to overcome, isn't it? And yeah, so I don't know. It's just taken too long. Like, you know, I'd hope that the thing would be here for the Commonwealth Games, and I think it will be because we're supposed to get rolled out or start the rollout in 2014. But who knows what's going to happen with the next government? But interestingly enough, I'll tell you. Interestingly enough, I do have another story that goes along the lines of, and when I find it here, it's here somewhere. Hang on. Oh, there it is. Copper trials hit 1 gigabit per second speeds. Now, how does that one take your fancy? This is off the old copper. Now, the trial used a digital subscriber line, DSL modem prototype made by Bell Labs, and ran over a single good quality cable. Speeds achieved were 1.1 gigabit per second over 70 metres, which I know is not a long way, but it's still nearly a footy field, and 800 megabits over 100 metres, which is a footy field. This experiment was made by or performed by Alcatel-Lucent. The trial used G-Fast technology, which combines pair bonding, vectoring, and phantom mode technologies. Ooh. Yeah, well, no, scary stuff. To improve speed and reach around. The VDSL2. The technology is not yet standardized, but blah, 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 blah. So there you go. So obviously now the fibre to the home, you know, the good thing about the NBN, well, maybe now with this technology coming out, the Liberals could go their fibre to the node and then do the last mile with copper still. Who knows? But that was interesting.
Yeah, well, that would certainly be fibre to the node. It's not going to be back to the current exchange on your current copper. I mean,
no.
If you look at your ADSL link, you know, you're normally 2, 3, 4 kilometres away. But I guess under the Liberal plan where it's fibre to the node, that's almost like the little
junction box
cabinets. Cabinets that you get in your street, and then realistically, it is probably in the realms of hundreds of meters.
Yes.
But I guess it's still dependent upon the quality of the cable. And, as we know, in older suburbs, some of that
that's
quality
right.
of copper is
And
questionable.
It's on, and Warlock might know the answer or give us some more info on this, that it is on, they said that this was done on a DSL modem prototype. So if we're talking DSL, does that mean it doesn't go through those rims? Is that right? So if there's rims in the ground, you're stuffed as well?
Yeah, you'd have problems there as well. Plus, there's the wiring in your house and how many other devices you've got on there. If you've got Foxtel on there, if you've got a alarm system, you're still going to have all of these problems that you originally had. You really need to get the fiber all the way along. And these things are fantastic. You see them happen all the time, but they're all under very strict, perfect laboratory conditions that you get these. I mean, everybody knows ADSL has got the ability to go up to 24 megabits, but can't name one person who's ever got that.
No, you got to be sitting right next to the exchange to get that. Oh, yeah. I think
this might be they can burst it even faster, but it degrades. The optical doesn't, fiber optics, so you would be better off still changing it all over to the fiber optics. As much as you can
sure.
Of it.
Yeah, I'm all for the fibre to the home for sure. That's what you need. That's what I want. But I don't think we're going to get it, so we'll have to wait and see. Shane, what's going on with headsets? There's problems with headsets. Is that what's happening?
There is, yeah. It's actually got a picture to this story, which I didn't include in the show notes. Sorry about that, but if you bring the story up, you'll see the picture.
That's all right. The audio listeners don't care.
No, that's true.
They can just imagine.
That's right.
Sydney Morning Herald warning over gamers' headset. A headset with 4 electrodes to zap the brain with a surge of electricity offers improved computer gaming response time, so they can eliminate more zombies and raid more toons.
Yeah, baby. Well, you're not going to respond to anything much quicker than a zap in the head, are you?
That's right.
Lobotomy.
The $249 US, $273 Australian device, which is available on the internet, passes the current to the prefrontal cortex using the stimulation technique that is also used to treat depression.
Oh, there you go.
You get bonus there. You get a good gaming experience, and you get your
double whammy. Well, that's just
you don't get depressed when that guy who's got really cool sniping skills kills you 50 times a row. You're still happy about it. This is the best game of my life.
I keep dying, but I'm laughing and laughing.
But, it's almost like you could put it on a certain part of your brain and it'd be almost like a reflex then, wouldn't it? Like you hit the shoot button or something. It's just, that's out of control. That is out of control.
It goes on to say that the company says that the headset is not a medical device and is not regulated by the US Food and Drug Administration, which is like our equivalent to, I don't know what it's our equivalent to, but it's the one that does all the medical and drug stuff. And it also says the device meets all regulated safety standards, but warns against the use if you've got epilepsy.
Right. And Professor Colleen Liu from the University of New South Wales School of Psychiatry and clinical and research psychiatrist with the Black Dog Institute said the effect on the brain was dependent on where, and you said that, didn't you? That was from Professor Liu, where the electrodes were positioned. Yeah, right. Well,
bring the picture up.
Where is it?
So people can see. It's in the story. It's in the story itself.
And if you want the cheap version, you just put a 9-volt battery on your tongue while you're gaming.
Well, that's right. Oh, who still does that? I do that.
Explains a lot, right?
Well, when the kids go, my little racing car's flat, we go, give me a look at that battery. Yeah, no, it's not. That can't be good for you, though, can it? But anyway. Look, now I've got a little story. How about this one? To spark it up? Bitcoin. They've launched an ATM. Can you get that? The machine is from a startup, Lamassu Bitcoin Ventures. Let users buy Bitcoin. So that's the only downfall. You can only buy Bitcoins. You can't trade them in for your hard-earned. But to use the ATM, you need to have an existing Bitcoin wallet number. It scans a QR code of your Bitcoin address. This is just out of control. So this is out of control. So Bitcoin can be purchased via online exchange sites, But the ATM means you don't need to use a credit or bank card, so helping to keep transactions anonymous. Oh, that's got to keep the world happy, the governments of the world happy. The company hopes to
Yeah,
probably
in the picture, it's got a security camera there. So you're anonymous while the security camera records your transaction.
I like where the security camera is. Security camera number 2. Is that for midgets or something?
That's the belly button one.
Yeah. Is that
a gun in your pocket?
It might be like
the Australian Taxation Office is targeting Bitcoin usage by people this year.
Oh, look, if they can't make Apple and Google and all that pay tax, well, they're not going to do anything. And they can't get a Mac software to roll out properly. They're not going to be able to do Bitcoin, are they?
No.
So, no. But there's a picture there on the video of the Bitcoin ATM. So it's there's 2 security cameras, and so that's all good. There's the card reader. So there you go. Yeah, all go.
So I guess as you're laundering your cash, that's how you can do it. Well, that's the only application for it. That if you want to remain anonymous, you're obviously trying to transfer hard currency into Bitcoin.
I've read about Bitcoin. That's as far as I've gone. I'd like to go a bit further. Warlock, have you gone further? Have you got any?
No. Firstly, you have to be careful because you get a key generated for you, and if you ever lose that key, all your money's gone.
Yes.
And secondly, you need to have many computers running the Bitcoin app 24/7 to generate enough these days, because the amount of Bitcoin that you generate from your computer cycles is very tiny now. They're restricting it as much as possible, and eventually it's a finite number, so eventually you'll stop being able to generate any at all, and it'll just be a tradable currency.
Yeah, there's a fair bit to be had, isn't there? There's a fair bit to go, I think, from what
there will be. Yeah,
the difficulty is quite high now for Bitcoin, especially, and there's I think they're called ASIC miners. They're dedicated hardware around it, because even if you're using a normal machine, it's not a CPU; it's the GPUs that are more efficient in generating the hashes to solve the encryption algorithms.
Right.
But really, unless you've got some of that dedicated hardware, the amount of electricity you churn, especially with Australian prices for electricity, outweighs any anything that you'd make out of it.
Wow.
Yeah. You have to have a bank of computers going 24/7 to generate it, and you're just chewing up the electricity like crazy.
Which people do, and look, out of interest, you go on Google and do some Googling around for Bitcoin, mining, etc. There's some pretty interesting rigs set up with multiple graphics cards on bare motherboards and just racks and racks of them that people have got in warehouses. It's quite interesting.
But either that, or just get a bunch of zombied Windows XP machines and install your software there, and people won't even know they're generating it for you for free.
You need quite a few of them.
And what about what are these algorithms like? What are they like? Anything useful?
Just complex mathematical algorithms that you have to solve to be able to generate your Bitcoins.
So has someone authored these algorithms, or has a computer manufactured the algorithm? Do you know what I mean?
The computer manufactures it.
Yeah, right. Well, that's insane.
So it's like an ecosystem, like for Bitcoin, that's designed so that there's only a certain amount of currency that we've generated, as Warlock said. So there's a finite amount. It will eventually all be generated, and then it will just be able to be traded. You won't be able to generate anymore.
So the company hopes to ship these ATMs in the spring, and they cost between $4,000 and $5,000. Bitcoin is currently priced at about $90 per coin, but I think it did hit a high of around $260. It's just, I don't know. If it's going to take me and cost me that much electricity, they'll bugger it. I'm not going to do it. But yeah.
Does anyone still do that folding at home thing?
No, I haven't done the protein folding at home for ages, or the SETI one.
I used to do that one for a while.
Yeah, I did that a couple of years ago. Yeah, not anymore.
I didn't find anything. I didn't find any aliens. It was it was just all they disappeared. Shane, what else you got going over in your neck of the woods?
God.
Please.
I didn't realise it was so quickly.
Oh, it's always your turn.
I'm gonna do the one where $25 million for an app that doesn't even exist yet. A 21-year-old university graduate has become the recipient.
Sorry,
has become
that was only
recipient.
5.
Oh, that's
a bargain.
right. No, but they got to get it registered now. You haven't heard the latest. Yeah, sorry, Shane. Sorry.
That's right. A 21-year-old university graduate, he's now 22, has become the recipient of the world's largest early investment funding for a mobile payment app that isn't publicly available. Stanford graduate Lucas Duplin raised $25 million in funding for his app Clinkle. App actually doesn't exist. No one knows what the app actually does.
Good.
Nobody knows.
Good.
It hasn't even been launched yet. The Clinkle website says it's rebuilding your analog wallet from the ground up and bringing the future of payment to you. Duplin is keeping mum about what it actually does. It's obviously somebody knows. I mean, why would you give $25 million to somebody without any information about what you're paying for?
Yeah, maybe it mines for bitcoins in the background or something. Who knows? But yeah, 25 million. Yeah, so it must do something. It must do. Someone's seen something, but maybe they just want to remain anonymous, and probably the guy doesn't. Who knows? Duplis, whatever his name is, he might not want it all out there. But yeah, that's crazy. 25 mil. I'm going to think of an app tonight, and kickstart it. Warlock, what's you got a story here? Malcolm Turnbull invented the internet.
Yeah, that's quite cool, right?
Yeah,
we didn't even realise.
I only watched him on
It's all
Q&A.
tubes and stuff.
Those tubes, yeah.
Those tubes. They're getting tangled.
The opposition leader is holding a lofty policy discussion in Canberra in the lead up to the 2013 election. He spoke briefly about his shadow communications minister, Malcolm Turnbull. He virtually invented the internet in this country. So apparently he's referring to Malcolm Turnbull's time at Aussie Mail back in the day. And Aussie Mail came to be in 92 when the editor of Australian Personal Computer sold his stake of the magazine to focus on his email service provider, originally called Microtext. Fast forward 2 years and Malcolm Turnbull enters a picture investing in the company to the tune of $500,000. He later sold his stake for $57 million in 1999. So he didn't invent it, but he might have invested in Aussie Mail and then cashed out.
Oh, how'd you be
Not
having
exactly
57
the same thing,
mil?
right?
That's crazy.
From $500,000.
Not too bad. Give me $250,000. I'd be happy.
I bet you didn't pay as much tax as you should have on it.
No. And have you seen about Double Fine, who are making a game from money that they raised on Kickstarter this week?
No, do tell.
They wanted $400,000 to create a new game that they had this idea for, so they asked for it on Kickstarter. They got funded $3 million, but the guy from Double Fine, who's made games in the past that many people like, because he was funded with so much money, he decided to make the game much bigger, and now he's only made half a game for $3 million, and he needs some more. So please donate some more money so that he can keep on making the game.
Can he finish it?
So,
yeah. Can he do it?
Yeah, $3 million. He only wanted $400,000. Now that he's got $3 million for it, and it's not enough, so he probably needs about another $3 million to be able to finish it off. There's a lot of people very disdisappointed in that.
No, I heard a story.
Doesn't make sense.
I heard a story through the week because there's those sites out there, called Kickstarter. I don't know what the actual address is, but Kickstarter.com, and where you go to look for angel investors and capital for your startups and all this sort of stuff. But I didn't realise, and unless someone's telling me porkies, but I didn't realise that funding like that is illegal in Australia. That's why everyone goes overseas, because they're not allowed to accept, or they're not allowed to trade on receiving Kickstart funding for some reason, like on a website or something. Has anyone heard of that? If no one's heard of it, I might look into it.
I think Kickstarter is not so much done here as another one called Indiegogo, which is a similar sort of thing for funding Kickstarters around other places other than America.
And look, I've got another story. We'll move off of that one. But Telstra monthly charges are going up. Yeah, this is sort of sticks in my craw a little bit.
Didn't even know you had one.
I got a couple. Because look, if you've got cable internet You don't need a copper line, right? You don't need a home telephone number. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are listening here, and probably even on the panel here, that they've got no need for a home phone. Well, absolutely no need. But the Telstra is going to pump up the business line plans, the home line plus advanced. They're all going up $2. So we don't even use these things, but we have to have them. I've got cable internet. Don't use it. Don't use the landline. I'm sorry. I've got to pay $32, $34 it's going to be, or something like that, just a month, just to have it. Just so. Anyway, bundled plans and contacts will remain the same. Blah blah blah. And their excuse, old Tootie. He says we spend hundreds of millions of dollars each year. Toady, whatever he is. We spend hundreds of millions of dollars each year operating and maintaining our phone services, so our pricing needs to reflect the ongoing investment. I don't think they really do investments in copper anymore. I thought it was just maintenance. As well as the rising cost of our own business inputs, such as labour, petrol, and materials. So, yeah, petrol goes up, phone bills go up. Okay. Anyone else got a story? Jason, you can pick another one out. From
the large selection?
From the selection, that's right. One that
take them out of any area. I've got a few there as well.
One that takes you. Well, while you're looking for one, I want to talk to Warlock about this Technet subscription. Now, for those of you who don't know, Technet Subscription is from Microsoft, and if you subscribe to it, I think it's about $300 a year, roundabouts approximately. And if you subscribe to it, if you're a tech professional, it allows you to download all the Microsoft software as on an evaluation basis. Okay, but now they've canned it. So,
it'll no longer be available after August 31, 2013. The subscription service will be shut down as current subscribers' contracts end. So
so apparently, this doesn't probably go for a lot of the listeners, so we won't spend too much time on it. But look, if you've got, from what I've read, if you've got a subscription and it ends this year, I think you can still renew it for another year before August 31st. So you can still get another year out of it. But by then, they might have changed their mind. I think it's a bad move. Look, I don't know. I use a Technet not for. Well, I do evaluate the software as well, but mainly if I need a version of a Windows to help me fix a computer somewhere, I'll just download it because I know it's going to be the nice little Microsoft version. I don't need their keys or anything. I've got a key. The customer's got the key, but I just want the version of Windows. And
maybe they're hoping you'll go for the MSDN subscription next time and pay a lot more money.
Yeah, that's like about $1,200. Good luck.
Way too much.
Yeah, good luck. Jason, how'd you go?
I'm looking at one here with the ABC for their popular iView media player is looking to meet the response for an Android version of the apps, saying that they've seen a 360% increase in the last 12 months of Android users, and that now represent 35% of mobile browsers on ABC online. So obviously the one for the iDevices has been around for a while. There was one that was based on or used Python, so the scripting language, the Python iView application, which the ABC took down after it was running for a couple of years, arguing that they had copyright concerns around that, where users were able to download the content. So
what's wrong? Yeah,
they're looking at.
I just think if ABC hasn't got around to doing it and someone else has done it, well, what's the problem? Seriously,
I guess they were concerned that people are able to,
record it or something,
more easily download it. But look, at the end of the day, as we all know, if someone wants to download the content, it's coming to you.
That's right.
They're going to find a way to do it. But their hope is that they'll launch that before the year's out. So,
but I can't believe. Yeah, I think it goes on in there to say something like, to say how much it's going to cost them, so many millions. I can't see it. I thought it said somewhere in there how much it was going to cost, and I thought that's crazy. That's crazy. It doesn't. It might have been in the original story. If you want to know, just go to the AussieTechheads.com.au webpage /podcast. Go up to show notes and have a look at the show notes. They're all there. this story and others, and other stories that we're not going to get to tonight. They're all up in the show notes. So go there for a nice little concise little view of what we're talking about. And also, don't forget usbonthego.com.au. You're looking for those little on-the-go cables or car chargers or card readers that plug into your Android phone. Give them a hoy over there, usbonthego.com.au. They're great sponsors of the show. Good stuff. And also before the show, every Thursday night, you'll see some replays of certain shows. You'll see the techwebcast.info replay. Go and have a look at that. They've got interviews with different people each week. It's quite entertaining. It's quite good. That's before our show, Aussie Tech Heads, every Thursday night. And also trying to replay the Aussie Mac Zone for you. So, so you can get your teeth into some Mac stuff before the show. So, so whatever videos we got going, we'll try and pump them in before the show. So hopefully, the Tech Night is growing. Thursday Tech Night. It's starting to grow. So there's nearly always something on at 6 o'clock. You can start off at 6 o'clock. And if you've got a podcast or a video cast, or whatever you want to call those little fellas, and you think you want to take part in some of this, or you've got an idea and you're yet to make a podcast, give me an email and I can help you. Well, I'll put you on the right track, and we can get you in the run, especially on the AussieTechRadio.com. We'll get you guys in the round. Ooh. All right. Now, look, I've got a sad story. The Doug Engelbart, he's died at the age of 88. Now,
that's a shame.
Well, it's a shame when anyone dies, isn't it? But you don't know. People probably listening going, who is Doug Engelbart? It's not Engelbert Humperdinck. It's Doug Engelbart. He developed a tool in the 1960s which would become to be called a mouse. So how do you like that? He invented the mouse. It was a wooden shell covering 2 metal wheels, and he painted it long before the widespread use of the mouse. But apparently the patent ran out in 1987, before the device became widely used. He did not make any money or much money from it because the patent had ran out, and then not long after that, SRI licensed. In 1983, SRI licensed the technology for $40,000 to Apple. Yeah, at least 1 billion computer mouses have been sold. So good on you, mate. You've done us all a favour. I'm using one right now to click away from you. That's good. And what else have we got? I got another one. Did I have another one there? Warlock, did you have any more?
Yeah, sure. There's an update to story. Where are we? In one of the first announcements of the reborn Rudd government, Telstra, Optus and Vodafone will be forced to provide details of the real cost of making calls, sending a text or surfing the net when overseas. The overhaul comes after 70% surge in complaints about roaming charges that can be 150 times more than that at home. In the worst cases, people have had shock bills of up to $9,000 after using their mobile overseas for just one day. So the new rules that start from September 27 will force the telcos to SMS all customers when they arrive overseas to warn them that there's going to be higher charges, reveal they may be charged for services that would normally be free at home, tell them how to turn off roaming services, tell them the exact price for making a call, sending a text or using the internet, and link them to a free alert that can notify them when their bill reaches $100 increments for data used and says when they've spent 50, 85 and 100% of their prepaid limits. So hopefully they'll get rid of quite a bit of bill shock there, which is still ongoing and is a big problem for a lot of people who travel.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good idea. But we've spoken before about travelling and mobile phones, and I think Eric, who is well up to speed on what he does, is he'll just get to the country of destination and buy a little throwaway SIM. So you're not going to be keeping your old number, but at least you'll be able to make calls. And
make sure your phone's unlocked, or get a burner phone when you're over there with a SIM in it, prepaid or something, and just use that because you're going to save yourself a lot of headache. I've got, with my carrier, I've got it set up so that it sends me an SMS when I get to 85% of my used data, and then when I get to 100%. So after that, I know I can stop using it.
Shane, did you have any more down there in, where are you? Perth?
Perth, yeah. Dullsville, remember?
What's it like? You had the MasterChef guys over there this week.
Oh, did we?
Well, not well. It was on the TV this week, but probably filmed like years ago.
For the Wild West version.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's right. I've seen the ads. Yeah, I remember now. You money. Oh, no, it's right. It's back. All right, here we go. Apps take over the race to paperless schools. Basically, this is a story where, traditionally, when you get something sent home from a school about your kid, usually my kids is because they've done something wrong. It's it's the old pink slip or it's paper notes. What the schools are doing these days now, what schools are starting to do, is use the internet to either email things back to the parents and or even create apps, mobile phone apps like iPhone apps and Android apps to keep parents abreast of what their kids are doing or what the kids are not doing in some cases.
Yes.
And I believe it is starting in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Sydney is the place where it has been launched.
Yeah, right.
I'm just trying to find the name of the school or the schools that are doing it, but the names escape me.
Doesn't matter.
No, I can't find
There's
it.
some school in
But yeah,
Sydney.
it's definitely in the northwest of Sydney.
Yeah, right.
Oh, here we go. Lee, mother of two. Yeah, it just goes on to sort of say one of the parents as an example, and she lives in the northwest of Sydney, so it's obviously a school in that area.
Mm.
She drives their kids a very long way to school.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Right. So that's good. I suppose save paper and all that sort of stuff. But that's all good. Now, look, if I can show you a picture when I can get control back of my mouse. It's going a bit slow tonight. Things just aren't going.
And the mouse too.
Engelbart Humperdinck's let you down.
That's right. No, I've got to. I don't know. Well, the picture might come. It was only supposed to be a quick story. I was just going to say that Windows 8 has overtaken Vista in the market share. That was all I had to say.
Ooh.
Yeah, Windows 8 grabbed 5.1% market share, which is tiny, isn't it? That's tiny. But apparently it's up, so that's good. Up from 4.3% in May. So there you go. Finally overtaking Vista as the third most used OS. Vista share slid to 4.6. Windows 7 holds reign, 44.4%. XP still 37.2% of the market share. That's crazy.
Yeah, it'll probably be a couple of years before we see any decent Windows 8. I mean, the major company that we support is only just rolling out Windows 7 in the last couple of months. So
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be a while before they'll go to Windows 8 point whatever it'll be at that stage.
Yeah.
Because they have to test out all the applications, make sure they're going to work. So since we've got headaches at the moment upgrading to Windows 7 because some things will only work on 32 bits, some will only work on 64 bits, and we've got all of these problems, and some just have to stay on XP at the moment because their applications are not compatible.
Well, I know. I know.
8 point whatever is not going to be popular for another 2 or 3 years, I think.
That's right. Well, I know some government agencies, they're still on IE6. Can you believe it? And that the IE6 is that old with other software that's coming out that they've actually introduced Firefox to the system because I don't know, it must be things like whatever Firefox does now that IE can't do, but they can't move out of the XP environment. Yeah, because probably what you're saying, Warlock, that there's issues with their proprietary software.
We have most of the people on IE7, but even now they're getting to websites that have been coded to. I understand they want to be secure, and they're saying you can't view our website until you upgrade to IE8 or 9. But the problem is, then it can break other applications which they've already got, which are old that only work with IE7. So we say don't upgrade to IE8. Because your other programs won't work, but they do anyway, and then find out we have to rebuild the whole computer because we can't go backwards that easily.
I remember Kogan, he was charging a surcharge if you come to his site on anything less than IE7 or something. Then you had to
a browser surcharge. The older your browser, the higher the surcharge.
That's crazy.
He does anything to get into the news.
Oh yeah, this is right. But I'll tell you, his internet ads are everywhere, aren't they? Everywhere you go, there's Kogan ads. Yep. He must just be pumping the hell out of Google AdWords or whatever it is. Yep. Yeah. Jeez. All right. Okay. Anyone else got anything? I've got a couple more. It's nearly time to end.
I guess I can't resist a Microsoft story, especially one that maybe isn't so positive around the Surface Pro and the 4-hour battery life. So basically in testing and I think Ars Technica had a look at the Surface Pro, which is aimed at the business market, and they're suggesting that where they're doing testing, running a video continuously, they were not even getting the 4 hours, getting 3 to 3.5 hours.
Just crazy.
When compared to an iPad, which would be around twice that amount. Walt Mossberg, of all things, said the product was too hefty and costly and power hungry.
Yeah,
Mossberg's tests at the Surface Pro lasting just under 4 hours between charges. Yeah, again, less than that of an iPad.
That's not good enough.
Yeah.
That's just not good enough. And so if Walt says it's not good enough, well, who are we to argue? So
absolutely.
That's right. But, there's other devices out there, other tablets out there that will run the 8 Pro the 8 Pro, which I guess would have varying specs and maybe suit your purposes better rather than the Surface. You don't have to buy a Surface. You don't have to get...
you get an Ace or Asus or something.
That's right. How are they on battery, Warlock? Any idea?
I don't really care about them, so no idea.
No? Okay, fair enough.
I don't have a tablet anymore. I sold my iPad 2 to my housemate, and my daughter is getting my iPad mini for her birthday.
But that'd be the go, wouldn't it? You sell your iPad to your housemates. Well, you're still in the same house, so you can still use it. That's the go.
What a cunning plan.
That's the go. Oh, they don't call him Warlock for nothing. All right. Now, look, I've probably got one more. Has anyone else got Jay's Warlock? Have you got any more?
Yeah, Choice Australia is blasting the US TV giants and, of course, places like Foxtel and that for locking down content. So they're saying Australians being treated like second-class digital citizens when it comes to availability of content. Netflix in the US costs $79 a month. $7.99, I should say. $7.99 a month. It features a hit parade of shows, including Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, House of Cards, and Arrested Development. Back catalogues of most series are available for instant viewing, as well as other popular TV shows. In Australia, QuickFlix gets if it's from $15 to $35 a month. You pay extra to watch some TVs and movies, and then if you go for Foxtel, it's $72 a month. So that's 10 times what the US is paying for much less content.
I reckon when it comes to all this, maybe there's obviously price gouging going on with us, but look, I just think that because we're a smaller market, like Netflix or whoever it is, Microsoft, Apple, whoever it is, they'd probably sit down at the table and go, okay, we want to get, so many percent. We want to get 15% revenue or net revenue or something from this service. So, but in America, they got 100 million people. So you'd be able to get hit that target quite easily. But then when you bring that over to here, we haven't got that many people. We've got 5 people signed up to Netflix because it's useless. And
unfortunately, it encourages piracy here because when you have deals with Foxtel that are going to block the world's most popular show at the moment is Game of Thrones, they're only going to release it on Foxtel here. So people in Australia who wait a year or so to be able to watch this, see all their friends all over the internet, because this is a worldwide thing, the internet. They're watching these shows and talking about it on Facebook and Twitter and all the other social networking and stuff. And everyone over here is like, well, we don't get access to that. So, of course, all of this is always just going to push the piracy up. They need to knock it down and stop these ridiculous exclusive deals blocking people from content that people actually want to pay money for, but they won't let them.
Yeah, that is a bit crazy. But I know with Dexter, it's just started up again. And we all know and love Dexter. Well, I do. I couldn't wait for it to start. And, it wasn't... It was on Foxtel, on the Showtime channel, probably within and under, 12 hours of it screening in the US. So it was super fast. So now that's where you got to be. So I think...
You only have to pay 10 times anybody in the US for the same privilege.
Yeah, but it's still here. Because even when you tape something, even when you're watching something on Channel 7, like my wife watches say the Rafters, Packed to the Rafters. Now, she
not anymore.
No, that's right, not anymore. But she and amongst other shows that she watches, but she tapes them and watches them later. But then she has to have a self-imposed Facebook ban. Otherwise she's going to find out who died or what happened and all this sort of stuff. And that's what happens. Like, people aren't going to wait. They're going to, show goes off in the US, Facebook, Twitter goes crazy with what's going on, then the show's spoiled for you. So obviously people are going, well, jack this. I know how to get it, and I'm going to.
Yeah.
So,
well, even Choice Magazine is providing links to tell you how to get around the IP geo blocks so that you can subscribe to Netflix and other places like that. So they're helping Australians. They're like, this is ridiculous. We've got to help people be able to do what they want. And, don't know if it's that much more legitimate than torrents, but at least you're paying something.
But that's that's another thing I don't really get either, is that how can these places like your computer magazines and Choice and all that, why are they promoting or publishing something illegal? Like, how do they not get stung themselves?
Well, it's illegal.
Because I guess it's the same thing as like police scanners. It's not illegal to have a police scanner, and it's not illegal to listen to one, but it's illegal to use the information you gain from it.
They're telling you how you can do it, but they're not actually breaking the law themselves. So maybe they get away with it.
So it's like how to make a bomb on the internet. You read the instructions, but that's they're not.
Do you arrest the guy who's making the bomb and actually planted it somewhere, or do you go to the guy who wrote down, if you mix these two chemicals, it's going to go kablooey?
Yeah, right.
Well, that comes back to the whole firearms argument. Do you arrest the guy who pulled the trigger, or do you go to the person who made the gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the Netflix thing, I thought they also looked at where your credit card came from, so you couldn't, we couldn't use it.
Oh, you can buy US credit cards and credit on US cards.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
And then you just give a fake home address.
Yeah.
A lot of rooting around.
Well, it is. But some people want it. Some people want to go that way.
All that information's out there, how to do it. If you really want to watch these shows, it's the be-all and end-all for you, then you're going to do it. I couldn't care less.
And yeah, who cares? I certainly don't. And as I've said before, we all agree. You guys probably haven't heard me speak about it or joined in on the conversation. But 10 years ago, when there wasn't the internet, we used to just hand hard drives around. We had someone that would. What?
Sneaker net, they call it.
What's that? Well, there
you use your sneakers to move it around instead of the network.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, there was someone, say, in Sydney that might have had an internet connection or whatever, and then everyone contribute, say, like 3 movies or something, and then all of a sudden this hard drive, 200 gig hard drive's full of movies, and then it just goes around to everyone who wants it. You take off what you want, and you're never going to stop it. You're never, ever, ever, ever going to stop it. I remember going back to when I was at school. There was a shop down in the main street of Cooley, and they were selling, I'm not sure the name of the shop, was something like something soft. Ubisoft. It wasn't Ubisoft, but something like that. But anyway, they were selling Commodore 64 games on the cassette, but they were pirated because it had a black and white photocopied cover. It was crazy.
What used to happen in the old days, just swap around your floppy disks, go to friends' places with your hard drives and cartridges and copy it all over.
Yeah, look, you're never going to stop it. I reckon you cut your losses and make it available for $2 or whatever it is on the internet, and then just rake in every $2 that you get and go, oh, that's good, thanks very much. I got my last.
There's a lot of discussion around it, and it comes back into, I guess, the 3 main points of it. This geo-blocking thing is really around old business models of obviously pre-internet, where people had copyright deals per region for, back to books even, before TV and music, which just really isn't applicable anymore with, the internet.
It even happens now. If you want to buy a book from Amazon and get it on your Kindle, you can't get it, so you have to get it through iBooks, exactly the same book in your country. But Kindle didn't have the rights to sell it to you in Australia, so you had to get through iBooks.
Yeah, it is.
And so you've got that in combination with making it available in a timely manner and also at a fair price. So, then, especially for movies, you're not waiting for it to be released in Australia, let alone released, on DVD in Australia, etc. 6 months after it's come out in the US, and it's at a fair price. That would go a long way to, helping to alleviate piracy. Look, there's people that are always going to steal and do the wrong thing.
Well, that's right.
But I guess there's a happy medium there if some of those old school business models are, they're just not applicable anymore.
Well,
even the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One are now region free. They finally got the idea.
Yeah, well, you take, like as I was talking about before, Dexter and Doctor Who. They were broadcast within 24 hours, pretty much, of them being broadcast in the native country, and that's long enough. That's short enough of a time for me not to worry about trying to look elsewhere. I'll wait.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll wait.
Exactly.
Get a better picture, even.
World Wide Web internet is.
That's right.
Not the American internet, even though they seem to think it is.
That's right. Well, my last story for tonight, or this episode, is Fujitsu Australia turns 40. So there you go.
Happy birthday to
you.
you.
They released an ebook to mark the occasion called The First 40 Years. The ebook chronicles the experiences of the company in Australia. 1970, only had 100 staff. Now today it's got more than 5,000. So that's cool. There's a couple of milestones here. We can probably have a quick look at a couple of them. So Fujitsu was the first vendor to provide a contract with a guaranteed uptime. There you go. 1991, the drive system at the New South Wales RTA was the largest commercial Unix site in the world, running on Fujitsu mainframes. In 1986, Fujitsu sold a game-changing research supercomputer to ANU, the first supplied outside of Japan. Cool. So there you go. They've 40 years and they've done a few things. The Australian Bureau of Statistics still refers to Fujitsu as a partner, even though the ABS retired its mainframe in 2006. Fujitsu's, that's getting harder to say, Fujitsu's historic 1977 ABS tender win marked a new era in enterprise systems in Australia with a large deal on global scale. Yeah, Fujitsu, Australia took technology fast. Fujitsu Australia software technology fast. That's what it is, yeah. Was the first major vendor software development centre in Australia. Well, there you go. So they've been around for a while. They're not just film and cameras and happy snaps.
Air conditioners.
That's right.
Plasma TVs.
Yes, they're not just all that. They're that and more. There you go. Good stuff. Now, does anyone have anything else before we head off?
Sounds good to me.
That sounds like cricket, so that sounds good. There's no more to go. All right, so that takes us to the end of the episode. So thanks everyone for downloading. I'm thinking about putting, as you know, or you might not know, but the Tuesday Aussie Mac Zone, we've put that up on video up on iTunes as well. Sort of toying about whether we should be putting the Aussie Tech Heads up on iTunes. I probably will do that, I think. Why not, eh? See how it runs. I just want to thank everyone for keeping us around the top 10 in the iTunes chart. So that's great. It's fantastic to always be ebbing up there around the top 10. So that's good. And so if you want to contact us, it's any one of us at AussieTechHeads.com.au, except Jason, who's at AussieMacZone.com.au. Jason with a Y.
Just to be different.
That's right. And if you want Twitters, look, they're all, where are they? Oh, I'll give them to you. It's mine's at Aussie Tech Heads. Jason's there is at Jason with a Y Walmsley, and Warlock is at Warlock Waulok, and Shane is at Shane 1973 Shane with a Y. Eric with a K. And Will, what's Will? Oh, he hasn't been here. I forgot what his is.
Will with a W.
Mr. Tompkinson.
Mr. with an M. Tompkinson. Yep. That's right. So give us all an email if you've got anything to say. Don't forget, if you've got a podcast or an idea for a podcast, bring it on. Let's go. Bring it on. And we'll, I can give you a couple of pointers anyway, get you started, and hopefully we can, once you get going, we can play it on our shoutcast, so get some exposure there. So don't forget that.
Does it have to be a tech-based one?
No. Oh, if you want it on the shoutcast, probably. But if you're just a couple of tips, I don't mind what it is. It could be historical. I don't care.
I'm just asking for people in general, not me.
Yeah, no. If it's tech-based or if it's...
What, friends of yours, Shane?
Yeah.
I have this friend.
I've got a friend who wants to do a podcast.
That's right. So don't forget the show notes. They're on the website, and the website can be found, the podcast website, AussieTechHeads.com.au/podcast. That's it. So take care until next time, It's bye from all of us. Bye, everyone. Bye, boys.
Bye.
Good night.
And hopefully you'll be hearing us next week for another episode of Aussie Tech Heads. Bye-bye.